you one of the scene's most successful artists, having written the hit song I Hate You at just 15, and collaborating with some of the biggest and best names in infocore. He's half fake, Brecker, who said rockstar. It's H4rtbrkr.
What's
So,
up?
how are you doing? And just introduce yourself in your own words.
I'm doing good. I'm Heartbreaker. I'm a musician, and as the guy said, I am half Asian. I'm also half white. It's good to be here. It's good to be Asian. And I'm, looking forward to this interview. Big fan.
Okay, so getting into the first question. You will be playing your first ever live show at the Oblivion in Island Park, LA, which will be kicking off your tour. You had this really cool Ava 1 poster on your Instagram to promote it. But can you tell us about the show, the tour, and your previous aversion to live shows?
Yeah, well, the first show is kind of meant to just be a test on whether or not I can actually do them because I've got kind of like I'm a pretty anxious person and I don't like do well in front of people. So I think if I can do this show and it goes well, I think that'll be kind of a good omen, meaning the rest of the tour can go off successfully. But um, I'm not I think it's kind of been misconstrued on my opinion on live shows. I've never really been anti live show just as a whole. I've just been kind of anti this scene's live shows because they've never really been um they've never really been that great, and I think it's kind of like this the community is like an online community. That's kind of been the ethos of it since it began. And so I always thought that doing like live shows would just be kind of like it's like it seems kind of ironic almost, like it's an online community and they're doing these IRL shows. So it always felt like it was a bit antithetical, is that the right word? It just seemed like it wasn't something that this community would do, and so a lot of people, including myself, hated on them. But it's also just because the shows just always fucking suck because it's like a bunch of nobodies and then they're friends and then they just like hang out and do bullshit in like a bar and then they take photos in a Denny's and hump in a parking lot after. Like it's not really a concert, you know what I mean? It's not a show as much as it is like a bunch of like idiots playing in like a dive bar in the middle of New York, and then they just take like their four like dumbass friends and then bring their like 20 friends from Twitter. Like that's not a show. That's not fans. Like that's just you and your friends hanging out. Which if that's what it's gonna be, let it be that. But like don't try to pass it off as like a festival. It's fucking stupid.
So, is that in response to Steakfest?
Not really. It's more of a response to these are like long gone now, but shit like Doomer Fest, Virgin Fest, the fucking Valentine's thing. I think there's always kind of a those ones just really felt like the Wizard Tower phonies and their friends hosting like really stupid shows. I think, the first or how many Steakfests are we in? Have we done two or three? I don't remember. But the point is that those are like memorials, right? So I feel like that's less of a I feel like it's harder to hate on something like that because I guess the messaging is like it's more about community anyways. It's less about the music, those things, and more about kind of like I guess like a celebration of sorts. So I will say though, it's like the funniest thing about those concerts is that it's like a bunch of random nobodies, and then like Bird and Zany, which are obviously they're both like talented guys, and they're like the best of that entire group, and they just throw those fucking guys' names on everything, and it's like it's so funny because they want people to go, so they'll just toss their names on it so that people will show up. But I feel bad for them because they have to play like a million of these like every year, but. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not so much a Steakfest as it was the other ones, but I still don't super appreciate the other concerts just because like everybody there kind of sucks at music and it's not interesting. And also, fuck Basari on that fucking loser. But yeah, that's about it.
So, who is Derek the Opiac? I couldn't find any information about him online.
It's like a local band, so I don't know if there would be really any info. He's just like a close friend of mine since I was a kid, and he's like in a shoegaze band, so it's not really Um, like even it doesn't sound at all like anything like my music or anybody else's music in this community. He's not involved at all. He's just like a local like band from LA. But yeah, I mean this show like this isn't like my show isn't like an insult core event. It's just like a concert. Like I think when you get big enough And Silkcore is only like so big that once you start to like get more popular, you kind of it's not that you stop being in Silkcore, but the majority of your fan base kind of becomes more normie. You know what I mean? Because there's only so many Core fans. So after a while, your fan base kind of becomes mostly normie. So this isn't like an Core live event. It's just like a concert in LA. You know what I mean? Because at this point, my fan base is almost all normies. There's still that like diehard like Core group, and I still represent for them, but. That's just like a side effect of like getting bigger. Like, I mean, it happened to Need, it happened to Fried, it happened to Crust. Anybody right now who's like above like 50K, their fan base is mostly normies now. Because I mean, I don't even think there's like 50,000 Core fans on the planet. Like, it's a pretty small community.
Yeah, so how does the venue feel about you? Because it's a very left-leaning place. They sell, their website sells a Fuck Ice t-shirt. And being friends with the guy who made Glue Forever and your connection to the scene. How did they feel about you?
I don't think they feel much of anything at all because I'm not very political myself. Like, I don't like make political music. I don't like share my political takes on the internet. And most of my political takes aren't like controversial because I'm like a Christian. So I'm not like over here saying I'm not over here saying super controversial shit because most of my morals follow Christian ethics. So I feel like people are gonna like say that's ironic because I'm kind of a jerk on the internet, but like unironically, I'm just not like a super huge I'm not like a base like fucking neo-Nazi. I'm a Christian, so I don't think I've ever said anything that controversial that they would like not like me for. But again, I've never really been like that. Like fried neat and crust. Oh, not even crust. It's like fried and neat. I've always kind of been controversial and kind of always said like crazy shit on the internet, but I never have. Even in my music, there's really no messages of like hate or anything. They're just kind of sappy.
So despite being 20, you've been around in the scene for a while, and how do you think it has evolved? Because artists that you have worked with in the past, like H4rtbrkr, or even EXO will have left the scene. Arguably, the biggest change is that the scene's leader, quote unquote, I get that it was never a leader thing, but the biggest artist has changed from NVXP to Fraud by Fluoride.
Right.
I don't mean, I don't mean, what's, fuck, sorry, I didn't. I should say, I'm like retarded, so I wrote the thing down wrong, but, another thing is that there's a bunch of young kids in the scene now, but, how do you think it's changed?
Honestly, I know it's gonna sound like super pessimistic, but I kind of hate Insulcore now, and I definitely kind of hate the entire community now. Not because it's like I became woke or something and I'm like anti Insulcore. It's just because it's just not the same community that I kind of grew up with. I joined when I was 14, and that was like 2020, and the scene had been formed in 2019, and I've been around until now. So that's like been 6 years. I was 14 and now I'm 20 years old, so it's been a really long time, but it's just everything was kind of different, from like 2019 to 2022. I think Instacore was almost a completely different scene. It's like the way people just like kind of acted and spoke and the rules on like what was cool and what wasn't cool and like there's like an etiquette, I guess. It just felt like everything was kind of vetted and everything was a lot more like grassroots and it felt very I don't know, like the servers were awesome, like the people were awesome. There was always going to be someone annoying and like super autistic and stupid, but for the most part, like basically everybody was like really cool and you would just hang out with people all day. And even like the annoying people were kind of funny. So you had these characters and it was all really fun. And the thing that it's like the most different is that nowadays, like people think to be an insult core, you just have to have this pissing contest of who's edgier. And it's like if you're trying to be edgy on purpose, it's like you're just an idiot and you should kill yourself because like that's not how it feels like people in Instacore now are just trying to be what they think Instacore was. But like most of the conversations I had with people back then was about like super benign shit, like their favorite fucking ice cream or like their favorite band or like food and like just shit you would talk about with your friends, because we weren't just sitting down being like, who's your favorite school shooter, and how many black people do you not like, and do you hate Floyds, do you want to kill women? Like it wasn't like people were just like, we were friends. You're just talking about like your day, like how school was, like if your mom's being annoying, like just super benign, stupid shit. And now everything is like, here's my new song about killing black people. It's like, oh my God, kill yourself. It's super fucking annoying. So I don't know. It just felt like a very tight knit community of like a bunch of friends, and everybody was chill and it was all cool and everything was great. Even when we had infighting, it was still fun. And then after 2022, when the Wizard Tower Wars ended, Instacore kind of died completely. And then it was basically just Fried, Neat, Crust, and me. And that's how the Big Four became a thing. Because even at the time of the Big Four being like founded, we weren't even the biggest four artists. We were just the last four to be posting. And so Instacore was kind of like 2019, 2022, then it died off. And then the four of us kind of kept it alive. And then and like the very end of 2023, Loser 64 and Black came around and they started kind of starting this underground revival. But then Fried went nuclear on TikTok in 2024. And then that kind of made it so that Incel Core was basically resurrected with like a fucking defibrillator to the chest. And then the next year, my song went super viral, and that was kind of like the 1-2 punch to making Incelcore mainstream. So now it's like not only did Incelcore come back from the dead, but now it's the biggest it's ever been in its history. And like now that it's so big, artists can actually make careers and make money off of their music, like good money too. But it's all at the cost of like the original fan base and way of life being like completely taken over by retards. So now it's like instead of having it be like how it was, it's like I keep saying like, you gotta excuse me for that. I'm Californian, but um Instacore was this very grassroots, very like tight knit community of friends and shit, and it was a very different place. Everything was very different, and then it died, and then it came back to life, but everything about it was different. So I kind of think of like that. I forget what the name is. It's like Ship of Theseus or some shit. It's like if you replace every part on a boat, is it still the same boat? Like, and that's kind of how Insocor is now. It's almost like every single part of it has been completely replaced except for maybe four parts. And then it's like, is this even the same boat anymore? I think that's why I kind of tend to dislike it, because new fans, they're all like 13, 14 years old, and they're all like, my favorite school shooter is Adam Lanta. And it's like, oh my God. And everyone's like doing this weird edgy shit where they're like, we actually hate black people. It's like, holy fuck, dude. This scene's always been edgy. I have to acknowledge that it's always been edgy, but it's never been performative is the issue. Usually the edginess was just a result of guys actually just being kind of fucking stupid. But now it's just like, oh, guys, I love negative XP and I hate Floyd. I fucking hate Floyd. Oh, I'm so fucking lonely. I mean, I'm true Sal. And that's another thing, is that nobody is even a fucking incel, dude. That's like, maybe I should get into that later, but more or less, the name was always kind of ironic because nobody was ever actually an incel. Like, I guarantee you, anybody listening to this, all of your favorite artists are not an incel. They never were. Literally, none of them are. And believe me, because I've been friends with like all of them, none of them have ever been incels. The name has never really been that serious. If anything, it's just been more about being super lonely and like kind of vaguely right wing. But for the most part, none of these fucking guys are incels. They never have been. Not even from the start. They've at least had girlfriends in like fucking high school. And if they really were incel, they got one after fucking becoming popular. It's super ironic when people are like, Heartbreaker's a fake cell, so he's not incel core. I'm like, so is all of your goats. But anyways, I'm going on a rant. I've been talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, but, sorry, fucked. Yeah, but what about artists like American Retard or Without a Life, who would, I guess, be closer to that kind of incel culture? What do you think about them?
I only know who one of those people are, and I've never listened to any of his music, so I can't really tell you because I have no clue who they are. But um, the thing is that even when guys are like, oh, like I'm like a serious incel, I'm like one of the realest incels in the game. If they are genuinely an incel and that's not a LARP, they will not be for much longer. because it's inevitable in this community. It's like you cannot be making this music and become even a little bit popular and not have a girl try to talk to you. It just happens to you at some point. And if you're gonna call like true cell by like its exact definition, like no interactions with a woman, pure KHHV status, it's like you're gonna lose that quickly. That's just how this works. Women are so desperate for attention in this community that if you have like 500 SoundCloud followers, it's like fucking moth to a flame, you know, it's inevitable. It's gonna happen to you. That's the thing, is that if you're even in this community, you will have an interaction with a woman. You'll probably get pretty far with one as well. It's just kind of stupid to still be trying to LARP the true self thing. Like the whole point of it was just that incel core was meant to like piss people off, and a lot of us were like really lonely guys. If we had never had a girlfriend, or if we had a girlfriend, it was more so the fact that we were just lonely and kind of resentful because we like didn't get girls and it made us upset. But most of us were never like purely an incel ever to begin with. Like most of these guys had a girlfriend in like fucking fifth grade or something.
Okay.
Not the girlfriend that was in fifth grade. Well, let me clarify. While they were in fifth grade as well. Sorry, that sounded bad. Pause. Yeah, go on.
Okay, yeah, so, fuck. Uh, how do you feel about the fact that some of these kids, especially the normie fans, and I get like I'm 15, but how do you feel about the fact that some of them you're like they're Billy Corgan or Kurt Cobain?
I think like it's natural for that to happen. That happens to literally for almost every single Instagram artist that exists. There's like a young kid out there who thinks that they're like the coolest person ever. And I think it's obviously it's flattering, it's nice. And I think if you make music at all, a part of you has to have kind of an ego. I know people say I have a big ego problem. I really don't. I really don't. But if you make music, if you kind of entertain in any way, you have to have some kind of ego to you to be able to do that. And for me, it's like I think it's obviously flattering. It definitely feels nice to have people like think that about me and care about me in that way. But I also do feel like it's kind of undeserving because I'm not like that like cool. I'm kind of just like an autist, but I think that's maybe why people like me because I'm like relatable. But I don't know, it's nice. I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong with it. It happens to every when I was like 15, like I had artists that I would like DM constantly be like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan. Like, please answer me. Like, I really love your music, dude. Maybe we should make a song in the future." So, it happens to everybody. One of those guys are probably destined to be a big artist down the line.
Okay, so your music has changed and mostly abandoned its emo elements to focus more on, I'd say, indie ones. This arguably started on the Me and You EP from almost a year ago now. Why are you changing your sound in this way, and are you afraid it will alienate a lot of your listener base and drive them away from your music?
Well, first, I'd say it's not, and if you say that, you're retarded and should commit suicide because none of that is true. I've been making like pop punk and emo music since I was 15. It's been like almost 6 years now of my life of doing this, and I think if people expect you to make the exact same kind of music for your entire life, you should genuinely be murdered with like a chainsaw because I don't think you know this. I don't think anybody who like makes comments like this know this, but if you've ever listened to Blink 182, do you ever notice how their first four albums were really good and then after that it all becomes kind of shit? It's because there's only so many cool songs you can write with power chords over and over again, and so you kind of hit a wall. And I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've made like across my main account, my second account, and my archive account, I've made like over like 3,000 songs, and there's only so many times you can get in standard tuning and play power chords and go a half step down and go a full step down and go in a drop D. Like there's a limit to what you can do with power chords. And eventually you will hit a wall. And also, you get older and you want to try different sounds, you want to try different stuff, and you kind of want to do different things with your music because you don't want to just sit there making the same shit over and over again. And also, people get bored of stagnation. Like, if you make the same music forever, people are going to be like, this is nothing new. I'm kind of over it. And they want to move on to other shit. And for me, it's like, I never even really started making emo music until 2024. It was all basically pure pop punk until 2024. And even then, all those songs are like my biggest songs. That was probably my best year for my career up until like the next, what is it, like 2 years after that. But still, it's like the Me and You EP, like nothing about that is indie. Like the opening song is like a pop punk song. It's like probably one of the most like blatantly pop punk songs ever. The whole thing's distorted. It's got a palm muted verse. There's like loud drums in it. The next song is acoustic, which is also just pop punk. The third song is also distorted. That's also another pop punk song. The fourth one is maybe the closest thing to being indie, but it has a distorted chorus. It's still a pop punk song. The fifth song, again, distorted, still pop punk. The sixth one is probably the only song that isn't like a purely pop punk song because it's just like this kind of acoustic demo or instrumental. But even then, after Me and You, I released Okay Whatever, and all three of those are super loud, like emo songs. I mean, the first song's called Do You Love Me? The second's called You Suck and I Think You Should Probably Die, and the third one's called Get Over It. All those songs are super loud, fast, and angry. And then you have Leave, which is more shoegazy. I'll admit that that one's kind of more alt rock. That's less like emo or pop punk, but I would say it's kind of like alt emo in a way. And then Breakup is probably the only like EP that I will actually come out and say is probably the closest thing to being kind of like indie, I guess. But even then it's like See You Girl is like what like a punk cover of the Steve Lacy song. Riot Girl is a cover of a punk song from like 20 years ago. I Hope You're Happy is like an emo song. It's like, how is that not emo? And then Run Forever and Don't Look Back is just an emo acoustic song. I think it's just retarded when people say I'm not making the same music just because I decided to add an acoustic guitar. It's like, maybe you should just kill yourself because you're low IQ and fucking retarded. Like, do you want me to sit in my room and make like, oh, girl, I'm so sad for like fucking 30 years of my life? Like, I'm 20 years old. I'm going to be 21 next month. Like, I can't do that forever. But even then, I'm still making you. I'm sorry. The people watching this interview are going to be like, this guy's getting really upset. So let me bring it down a little bit. All I will say is that I started making music when I was 15. I'm almost 21. I've been doing this for like 6 years, and there's no way that I can just keep making the same four chord power chord songs my entire career. There comes a point where you have to evolve and kind of add new stuff and try to do new things. And when an artist does try to do that, if it's not like egregiously terrible, I think the fans should support it, and if they like it, it shouldn't be an issue. If I like switch to making like fucking like orchestral music like tomorrow, I'd understand why everyone would hate it, but I'm not doing that. I'm just adding like acoustic guitars. Like nothing's changed. Evo maybe was kind of like a step away, but even then that's still an emo song. The whole just listen to the lyrics. Don't Look Back was like a big kind of return to that sound. I think Ghost was kind of like a little more indie, I guess, but that's more of a surf song. Dead to Me is like I mean, come on, Neat's on that song. Just Be Cool, that's kind of indie slop. I'll put that, I'll say that's it. But, I also am like a huge fan of the Beatles, so I just kind of like stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a point of perspective. But when you're younger, I think you don't really want to like. When I was younger, I definitely didn't want to listen to my favorite artist like put violins and trumpets on his music. Like I wanted to hear him scream into a microphone. So I think I get it, but I don't know, man. There's what? I have like 225 monthly listeners or 225,000 monthly listeners. So somebody's got to like it. I mean, I'm not trying to be ego. Please don't say I'm having an ego about that in the comments, but somebody must be liking the music, dude. But anyways, yeah, that's my take on that.
I mean, like, I hate every song on that new EP except for I Hope You're Happy, so I mean, you should probably give, like, some more credit, but, anyway, so moving on.
Wait, what? What do you mean I should give it more credit? You just gave it way less credit. What are you talking about?
No,
You
I
can
said
take every song.
that was the only song that I liked. Like, I love that song. I think it's, like, one of your best ever, because it's like acoustic and pop. I don't know, I said I like that sound, like acoustic and pop punk. I thought it was cool. Like, anyway, but it doesn't matter. So, despite how... Oh, no, sorry, I've done my show up. So how do you write and produce your songs, and how do you think that's changed from when you started making music as Heartbreaker?
I mean, well, produce them. I just use FL Studio, so I just kind of have my guitars at home, and then I just plug everything in and just start recording. But how do I write them? I think it's like I don't know. Every song is. I usually write about something I'm feeling or some kind of idea that I have, which I know isn't like groundbreaking technology there, but it's like either I'm super pissed or sad about something, or I have like a concept in my brain that I want to write about. And That's usually it. So if I have some kind of like, I could probably think of an example um, uh, like Ghosts on my latest EP. I wrote that about, there's this show called It, Welcome to Derry, and it's like about like It the Clown. And I watched it. I really liked it. It was a really good show. And I was like writing that song about the being like one of the kids in the show and like what that would be like. And that's kind of what that song was about. And that's what that sample comes from at the end. So sometimes it's a concept and sometimes it's just a feeling. Like I Hate You is written about jealousy. So it's either a personal feeling or some kind of concept I have because I just kind of like pretending I'm other people sometimes. It's fun, it's fun. But yeah, that's that on that.
So how do you produce it though when you were starting out in GarageBand? How do you do that?
Oh, dude, that was a pain in the ass. I had my iPhone, and then I had this device called an iRig, which I actually learned from Steve Lacy. And you would basically just plug your guitar into the iRig, and then the iRig into your phone, and it would pick up the signal or whatever the fuck, and then you would just record guitar through your phone like that. And then I would just kind of program the drums and drop them all in, and then I would do the vocals with like an Apple headphone mic, and I would just sit in my mom's car in the garage and like scream into the mic. And that's that's why I hate my first album a lot because every song was made on my phone and I was screaming into the mic in my mom's parked car in our garage. So it sounds like a lot like garbage. And there's no bass on any of the songs because I didn't have a bass, and when I detuned my guitar, it just didn't sound right. So a lot of it is just really bad. But I mean, those are the songs that kind of like got me famous, I guess. So I do appreciate them, but they're just kind of embarrassing to listen back on. Anything from the garage band era is like just kind of bad to me.
Okay, so going off of that first album, despite how big you are, you've never sorry. We did this so many fucking times. So despite how big you are, you've never really released a full album. Your
Yeah.
longest release is your self-titled, which is only 30 minutes long. And I get like that's pretty normal for Instacore, but have you ever thought of releasing like a longer album, like maybe 30 or 40 minutes, like Loser 64 has?
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of been the goal for like the past 3 years because the first album isn't even supposed to really be an album. It was just, those were all the singles I had on my SoundCloud. And when I decided to move over to Spotify like full time, I just was like, oh, I don't want to upload these one by one. So instead, I just put them all into an album and called it Heartbreaker. But you can tell it's not meant to be an album because the songs don't flow into each other really well. It just kind of sounds like a bunch of shit put together. And the track listing is really stupid on it. But, I mean, what can you do about that? I thought about like taking the album down and then just re-uploading all the singles as singles or whatever so that I would stop having to worry about it, but I don't know. Yeah, I've been trying to make another album for a while. It's called Whatever Forever. That's been like the title I've been working with for like 3 years. And the funny thing is that I could have uploaded an album like 6 separate times, but I always do the same thing where it's like I want to upload an album, but I don't like want to have to do song by song and really commit to it and work on all these songs. So I just like make a few new ones, then put a bunch of old ones into an EP. But then the EP ends up being like 6 songs, and that's only like two off from an album anyways. So I'm like, I should probably just drop an album finally. But I am working on it and it should be out by the time that what is it like the summer's like over, so like September, August. But yeah, I don't know. I think releasing an album is also just kind of a bad idea because they don't get as many streams and singles are kind of like the way of life there, but I know that's ironic considering that all I do is drop EPs, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, but yeah.
Um, sorry, so, oh shit, yeah, okay. So, this next question is very important. I'm sure everybody knows that the band Heart Attack Man, since they were pretty famously covered by Crystal Snap, they are so popular that they headline tours and do this for a living. They have half the monthly listeners you do, and you have, as far as I can tell, achieved that success on your own without a distribution deal or support from a label. Have you considered becoming a signed artist But I mean, signing a 360 record deal, because that would undeniably help you a lot and boost your career to unknown heights.
Yeah, I think in the modern era of making music, signing a record deal is like not as important as people think it is because a lot of the times now, the deals that like labels will kind of put towards artists like myself are usually really lopsided and kind of predatory, with the intentions of just basically just taking money and then making sure that they can keep taking money long term. So I don't think I would like really sign a big picture deal unless it was like a really good offer or something. I've gotten a bunch of offers already, but all of them have been kind of steep. And when I negotiate terms, they've always been kind of like whatever. But I think if I got like a really solid offer, I would definitely sign because it kind of helps legitimize your career and you also get kind of like industry benefits that you wouldn't get otherwise. So there's definitely a reason to signing in this day and age, but it's not exactly the priority. I mean, Fried is like a fucking millionaire and he's never touched a contract in his life, so of course it's not necessary. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of depends on your emotion, I guess. Heart Attack Man's a good band. They've been making music since like 2016, but I don't think they ever really found a big commercial break. So that's kind of I think that's their issue is that they've never had like a moment of virality, I guess. Well, I guess they had that one TikTok song like a million years ago, but you know.
Okay, so do you think Instaport could ever be the new grunge?
I think it kind of already is. At
No,
least it
but I mean, like,
was.
sorry, when I say the new grunge, I don't mean like the new grunge, like, artistically. I mean, like economically, like the same level as
No,
Nirvana
I know
is.
what you mean. I know what you
Yeah,
mean. I
okay.
think I think I think there's potential that it could. I don't know if that's really guaranteed. It's most likely that it won't. I think right now it kind of is in the same sense that grunge was kind of a underground thing for like a few years before it became so popular. All it really takes is for Ensocore to become like the new grunge really is just for like a few artists or even one artist to go like nuclear, but Fried already kind of did. So that's why I say it kind of is. If you think about it, rock music isn't even the most popular thing in mainstream media right now. It's mostly like pop and rap. So, I mean, relative to scale, if you think about like me and Fried and Neat and Crust and all the other like really big guys, like as of right now, we kind of already are the new grunge. Of course, we're not doing like MTV and going on like sold out stadium tours, but if you think about it, I would say Encircle probably is like the underground grunge right now. But will I ever think it'll actually reach the same heights? I think it would take rap kind of going away and Encircle blowing up like twice where it's at right now for that to happen. And I don't think either of those are very likely. At least not rap going away. That's going to be around probably until we're all dead.
Okay, so now we're gonna do this is one that I wanted to test out with the Loser 64, but a lyric breakdown of I Hate You.
Hmm.
So yeah, go through each line with us, please.
All right. I have to look them up first because I don't remember how they go off the top of my head. All right. So, well, I wrote this when I was like 15, so you got to excuse me for kind of being cringe. But yeah, this was what 2021. This was like sophomore year. Okay. Well, the intro was just ooh 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 ooh. So there's really not much I can say about that. But I will say that I did get the kind of ooh idea from the Beach Boys because they do that in all their music, and I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. So I thought that'd be cool. And also Weezer does it. But all right, we'll start with ghost me. OMG, bitches want to know me. I mean that line is it sounds super silly now, but I remember when I was writing that, the whole point of the song was that there was this scenecore artist named Rebsy or Rebsy X, whatever, and he had that song "All I Want Is You Now," and we were friends when he made it, and he hadn't blown up yet, and I made this song kind of to parody his. It was kind of a parody of like scenecore because I was like. Every scenecore song is like OMG, FML, blah blah, and I was like, I should probably just do that, but on a rock song and see how that pans out. Of course, ironically, it ended up becoming my biggest song ever. But yeah, Ghost Me OMG, bitches want to know me. That was just me trying to say like, oh, it doesn't matter if you like ghost me. It doesn't matter if you Like, stop talking to me. Like, I'm a famous rock star. Bitches wanting to get to know me. Like, I'm super popular, which was funny because at the time I was not even remotely. I was still kind of a nobody. Um, LOL, I'm laughing at you, homie. That's just me being like, hey, dude, like you're retarded, and I'm laughing at you because I don't even need you, bitch. I'm like super stone cold and awesome. I don't even need a woman, dude. Fuck you. Of course, that was a lie. Oh no, who's he? Sorry that I'm nosy. And this is kind of the flip on that, right? So at first it's like, oh, I'm super confident, I'm bragging, I'm laughing in your face, I don't need a girl, like fuck you. And then it's obvious that that's not true, and I'm very insecure because I'm like, oh shit, who's this guy? Sorry if I'm being a creep, but who's this dude that you're with? And then KYS, does he know that you're with me? I mean, that's something like just kill yourself. Like like you belong with me, like who's this chump? FML, but I guess you don't care though. That's just me. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just saying, like, fuck it, dude. Like, fuck my life. Like, you don't give a shit about me. I'm fucking pissed. SOS, 'cause I think I really need help. Kind of being a little bit self-aware. I've got mental problems. KMS, because I can't stand this hell. At this point, that's kind of an inverse of the KYS line. I'm just like, I'm gonna kill myself. This is brutal. It's over. And then Yaks, I think I'm gonna kill myself. I don't even have to explain what that means. But the verse in total, it's basically the first half is just like, oh, I'm super confident, like I don't give a fuck, like I don't care if you leave me, like I'm famous. And the second half is like, okay, that's a lie. I'm obviously insecure, and I'm very much thinking about it. And so the song was kind of meant to be about like when you're super jealous over a girl and you're trying to like cover it up by being super like prideful, but in reality, like you
Okay,
don't mean a lick of that shit.
yeah, I'm guilty. Close.
Bro just left. What's up, guys? It's me. It's me, Heartbreaker. I'm here all alone on the interview. I actually don't know what his channel is called. Is it called? I remember. This is behind the scenes. This is behind the scenes right here, guys. Um, my stomach hurts, dude. This is fucked. Also, Ireland. Ah, hey, let's fucking go. Um, although I am a Protestant, I gotta put that out there. Sorry for all my Catholic fans. Uh, what else can I say when he's not here? Um, the band U2 sucks. I think they're um a lot of bands are bad except for like My Bloody Valentine. Um, I've never seen the show. What is that show called? I don't know what it's about, but I've never seen it. Um, I'm a bit myself. I'm Scottish. I'm like maybe I don't know how what percent. It's a good chunk though. I'm mostly English though. Well, relative to scale, you know, because I'm only half white. But um, did anybody notice is kind of like a
Nigger.
Did anyone figure that out? Because he said every pony earlier in this interview. And it's a little gay, dude. Um, but yeah, yeah. Who wrote this? Okay. How hot is it gonna be today? What's the weather like? Weather today. 90. Fuck my life. Jeez Louise, dude, this is bad.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, so, what is your relationship with Overnight? I figured he was very incredibly controversial from the scene.
You know, I this is kind of hard for me because like Over Tonight, Cold Winter, and all those other guys are objectively like retarded, and their music like objectively is bad. And they are kind of a big plague on the community because they make this very cookie cutter bullshit music, and then a bunch of like retarded teenagers who don't know anything about the scene think that they're incel and so they latch onto it and kind of they funnel fans inward, which I guess is kind of good, but it's also like, terrible. But Over Tonight specifically, I mean, he used to be a fan of mine. He also used to be a fan of Neat, and he was kind of like an Incelcore fan to begin with. And then he blew up doing his own shit, and now he like tries to pretend I don't exist. Because I was gonna collab with him like a year ago before all of this shit happened, and then he was super down, and now he like pretends I don't exist. So he's kind of like a fucking faggot. So fuck him. And yeah, I don't know. Fuck him and all his boys. Fuck Cold Winter. Fuck all them guys because they're all retarded. Yeah, that's my take.
Okay, so you've used some Norton. You've used. So it's really hard. I have to like speak with like a low voice, otherwise my parents can catch me. So you've used some nerdcore imagery in your songs, even gone as far as to word autism. But some notable
Or
examples.
autism. Wait, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm a diagnosed autist. I have autism in real life. That's not a joke.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm really sorry. That must be
No,
like
it's all right. I have
awful.
ASD. I'm genuinely autistic. I'm like, when I write about having autism, like that's not a LARP. Like I'm actually autistic.
Okay. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm not
Like,
offended. Okay, go on with your question. Go on with your question.
no, I'm sorry they have autism, but some notable examples are the amazing demo of the song Live Long and Prosper, Motherfucker, and one of your biggest songs, You're So Pretty, I'm Just a Loser, was originally called You're So Pretty, and I've seen all the original Star Trek series. Can you
Yeah.
explain this fixation?
Well, I've always kind of been into sci-fi stuff and like sci-fi like open fantasy or what's it called? High fantasy open worlds and sci-fi shit. I'm just a huge nerd. Like that's a big part of my personality and it kind of comes through in my music a lot, but that was kind of the point. I thought like I know I'm kind of at fault for starting the whole loser core thing because loser core was kind of a separate identity to incel core. It was kind of meant for more like kind of like lonely, nerdy, like loser guys. And that was kind of my like niche in the genre because most of Insacore was meant to be very kind of angry and loud and like fuck everybody, fuck myself, whatever. But my music was meant to be more kind of sappy and like self-loathing about like being kind of like a shy nerd. But that's just because that's who I am in real life, you know? I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. I love Zelda. I just love a bunch of shit. I'm like that guy with the I love everything t-shirt. I'm just super autistic and nerdy and just love nerd shit. I've talked about Star Trek a lot though in songs, but Live Long and Prosper, Motherfucker. That's a great song. You actually have you've got ball knowledge for knowing that one. That is a really good song. I literally just wrote that because I was like, I think I was in high school and I was thinking about how like Star Trek is awesome and everybody else kind of sucks, and that's what that song was about. I just bought like the movie box set on VHS a few weeks ago, but yeah, I don't know. I think I've always kind of incorporated like nerd elements into my stuff. That's that one song. What's that one song called? The uh, fuck, it's the one about why is my life bad because I have autism, and then there's also the I don't even care about stupid girls anyways, and I can't talk to girls, and all other fucking songs. But I loved writing about like nerdy shit because it feels like I'm being true to myself, and people relate to that because most people in Instacore are like dorks. You know what I mean? Like we're all kind of nerds anyways in some way, shape, or another. You know, whether you're like a fucking brony or if you're like super into Star Trek or Star Wars or like Doom. You know, everyone's kind of a nerd in this community. So I think it just resonates with people. Yeah.
So you're friends with the Big Four and some other guys. If you're set to release Volume 2 of the New World Order comp, uh,
Mhm.
can you tell us about the album? Because it should be coming out this summer.
Yeah. So New World Order was kind of started as a way to combat like the Cold Winter Over Tonight guys by like forming our own collective. Um, I will say the first volume, it was cool, it was good, but a lot of us kind of, and I genuinely do mean us, as in like all of us have a tendency to like do all of our songs at the very last minute. So almost everybody made their songs like days before the deadline, which is why the quality is kind of all over the place. Usually it's like one of us or all of us would have like one really good song and then one kind of mid song, but Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Both of mine were kind of bad, but I didn't really put a lot of effort into it. But the second one is coming out, I think, in August because the deadline to release is, or the deadline to finish your song is like at the end of July. So I think it comes out in August. And then we have some new people on it. I don't know if I can announce that yet, who it is, because Neat's kind of like the showrunner, and I don't know if I want to like, I don't know if I can say that. Maybe I can. I will say that there are people who stay the same, like me, Neat, Crust, Loser, and Dur are still on there, but I will say we have Pre-Ripped on there now, and also Dumb as Rocks, and there's some other guys, but that's all I'll reveal for now.
So retarded will not be returning.
No, I think he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know where he's at, so.
Yeah, that's stinks. Like I was looking forward to that for him to like post, but fuck yeah. And one more thing about that is one the new artist like I don't know, I get like I don't know, fried chickens or something like that.
You could say he's a fan of chickens. It's possible.
Okay. So years ago you said that religion means very little to you and it's a completely past thing, but over time that has changed. Why is that the case?
Uh, well, I think when I was younger, and I think with most people when they're young, it's like religion is not something you really care about because you're young and you just kind of want to do stupid shit. And like believing in God and following rules doesn't seem like it's super cool or fun when you're like a kid. But my mom was a Catholic and my dad was a Lutheran. And so I had like a religious upbringing, but they were both pretty laid back about it. They kind of fell out of way with the church and were just like vaguely kind of non-denominational Christians for most of my childhood. And so we would like pray sometimes and talk about Jesus, but it wasn't like a super big part of our lives. It was just kind of like we were Christians in the sense that like when your grandma's dying, you like pray for her, but that's about it. You don't really go to church. I mean, I had never gone to church like my entire childhood, so it was like I was Christian, but very vaguely, and I didn't really care about it, and I hardly followed it. But when I was like 16, I guess I was just super depressed and at a huge low point in my life, and I had kind of like was looking for a way out of that. And so I kind of thought, well, people always talk about Christianity or Jesus helping them out in these situations, and I was like, I am a religious person at heart, so maybe I should look into it. And I did. And for like a few years, oh, like 2 years, I was really looking into it. I was like, I had read the Bible. I was doing all this kind of research because at first I was trying to prove if any of it was even real to begin with. Because I'm like, well, how do I know any of this is even true? So I had studied it for like a few years, and then when I was 18, I went to the mental hospital because I had tried to kill myself, and after I'd gotten out, I like made a promise to God that I would like turn my life around and that I would try my best to, um, you know, be a true believer and really have faith and follow. I would just ask God to like deliver me from my problems, and I would finally do what I was meant to do and be the Christian I'm supposed to be. And right after that, my life got better. My music blew up. I started making a lot of money. I found a girlfriend. I wasn't depressed anymore. I quit drinking. I got sober, and everything kind of like started going really good for me. And so I was like, well, at that point, it's undeniable. So I studied religion a lot more. I got really into theology. I read a bunch of books. I started doing online, what's it called, proselytizing, like apologetics and evangelizing. And then I had officially converted to Lutheranism. I joined a church. I started going like every Sunday, and then I became more serious about it and it became a bigger part of my life. And I kind of tried to incorporate that in my music sometimes and imagery. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's also hard for me though because as Christian as I am and as much as I really do believe in this stuff, it's like I'm just like a flawed person in general. So I know people always find it ironic because it's like I mean, I see Christian guys on Twitter all the time who are kind of like rude. They're kind of assholes, blah, blah, blah. And I know I don't have the best reputation in the scene, but it's like I try to let people know that's not like a mark on Christianity. That's like a mark on myself. I truly do believe in Christian ethics and I truly am a Christian, but I'm also just like, I'm super autistic. I've got kind of problems with temper sometimes. And I think sometimes it's hard for me to follow the rules that I'm supposed to. So I fuck up sometimes. I say things I shouldn't say. I'm mean to people I shouldn't be mean to. I kind of blow up and stuff. And I'm trying to do better on that. But more or less, it's like, I think being Christian has helped me kind of mitigate that a lot. I used to like fight with people on Twitter all the time, and I've tried my best to kind of stop doing that. But to be fair, it's like I'm genuinely such an autist, and like people rage bait me on purpose, and then I give these big reactions because I just kind of can't help it. And yeah, it's really stupid. And then I look back on those arguments, and I feel really like embarrassed by myself because I'm like, dude, I'm such a fucking spurg. But yeah, I don't expect people to feel bad for me for that. It's just kind of the way of life, you know. We've all laughed at Asperg. It's the fate of Asperger's havers all across the world that people are gonna laugh at you your whole life. So that's kind of it.
Yeah, I'm sort of to ask you, Slim, do you want me to cut out the sister thing?
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can keep it if you want to. I don't really care. I think that's kind of common knowledge. I think I wrote a song about that too.
Okay. So you and other pop punk artists in the scene have kind of formed your own like pop punk band, so you know, with the big guys and also the smaller copycat artists. But I want to know, what do you guys think of like the smaller copycat guys?
I think honestly, it's really flattering. I don't get mad about it because that's kind of how I was when I was younger. Like when I was a kid, I just wanted to be like my favorite artist, so I would just kind of do what they do. But um, you know, the other, I think I'm not trying, I know people are going to say I'm being ego. I'm not trying to have a big ego about this, but when I started in Incelcore, nobody else was like doing pop punk and like kind of pop punk emo stuff. Like it was more so, it was very derivative of bands like, well, like Shooter, like Hard Christ, like Weezer, like P Daddy, like shit like that, and Waves. It was very derivative of this kind of like alt rock surf kind of style, and that's what a lot of people's music sounded like. And then I joined and I started making this kind of sappy, soft pop punk emo shit that was a way more like, it was way more kind of embarrassing and like losery, I guess. And so for a while, people thought it was really gay, and then it kind of caught on, and then eventually I became like the biggest guy to do it, and I was kind of like the not I don't want to say invent because obviously I didn't invent that style, but I was like the first one to popularize it in Incelcore. And then a bunch of these guys came afterwards that were kind of following that model. And so I don't see it as them like copying me like they're clones. I see it more so like they're kind of inspired. And everyone has like an inspiration. That's just how that goes. So I've made like a server full of like all of those other pop punk guys like Coastalist, Loser 64, like Paradox, Gulp, Bleeder, guys like that. And I'm trying to kind of create a collective of those kind of pop punk guys called Hit Club Records because my old server was Heartbreaker's Hit Club. And so I'm trying to make this collective called Hit Club that's just going to be all of those kind of pop punk emo guys, and we'll all just like form a big group and just release stuff together. I think that's kind of the idea, at least. I don't know if it'll pan out, but that's what I'm trying to do.
So are we gonna get like a pop punk and course comp?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to work on that right now. I just need to I need to like do this show and come home first because I can't like do anything right now.
Okay, right. Right, so this is probably gonna be the last question. What does music mean to you?
It's a great question. I mean, music means everything to me. I think whether I was making it or not, music has always been a big part of my life. And I think the same goes for like most artists, or at least I would like to think so. But I love music. Like outside of making it, I listen to music all day. I collect vinyl records. Like I'm always listening to stuff. I'm super inspired by like a bunch of different bands. I listen to like every genre ever, anything from like country to like alt rock to emo to shoegaze to rap to whatever. Like I listen to literally everything. So it's like music is just a big part of my life. It always has been. My dad was a musician. So it's like, and my brother's a musician as well. So it's a big part of my life, and I think without it, I don't know what I'd do because it's like the one thing that I probably love more than anything else besides like Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, that's a it means everything is what I'll say. It's a huge part of my life, and I don't know what I would do with that. If I went deaf, I'd probably kill myself. I'd probably kill myself, and I'd probably kill
Niger,
for not being a
member of the Aryan race.
Wait, what? You?
Niger,
Do you know him?
That's me.
Yeah, no, he doesn't support.
Fully white Europe.
So I'm gonna have to kill him.
That is incredibly offensive, Nazi bastard. What?
I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Don't ever say shit on me again. No offense. But, sorry, so, you talked about your brothers and your father, but, is there any, like, Salieri versus, like, I mean, you're not Mozart, but, like, Salieri versus Mozart thing?
In my family?
Yeah, like, does your dad, like, hover over your bed with a knife, thinking, like, why can't it be me? Or something like that.
Well, I mean, I don't live with my I moved out like a long time ago. I live on my own, so I wouldn't know. But no, my dad was he was like very popular in the 90s, and then he got my mom pregnant, so he had to quit his career, so he never really took off. And he makes like rap music. He's like a hip hop producer and shit, so I don't think he really cares. And then my brother is like the same way. He also is like a hip hop producer, so maybe he thinks that he's probably like the Salieri in this situation, but I don't think he really. I think he's proud. If anything, my family is pretty supportive. I mean, it's a positive environment, is what I'll say.
So, like, your father ever, like, produce any, like, famous songs that we know?
Maybe I wouldn't say it because that would like dox my dad. So.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this will definitely be the last question. Have you ever thought, like, selling out in any way to, like, basically make yourself more popular with the loser core indie guys?
No, fuck that. I would never stoop as so low to join the Over Tonight crowd. I would rather stick with what I'm doing, even if I was never popular again.
Okay, right. Well, closing it out then. You're supposed to play a song, right?
I am? Oh shit.
Yeah, like I said that the thing, but
I can try. Hold on, let me grab a guitar. Hold on, 1 second.
Okay, sure.
All right, hold on. Guess I'll grab the acoustic. Okay, cool. All right. What song should I even play? Fuck. Ooh, wrong key. Sweet OMG, bitches wanna know me. Oh, I'm laughing at your homie. Oh no, who's he? Sorry that I'm nosy. Why ask? Does he know that you're with me? I guess you don't care now. So ask, cause I think I really need. Okay, MS. Can't stand this though. Yeah, cause I think I'm gonna kill myself. And then a bonus song. Outro theme song. Outro theme song. I threatened to kill him and he got mad. I threatened to kill him and he got mad. Even though he threatened to shoot me in the chest at a live concert. And I could have told the cops and got my concert canceled. And got him arrested at his home in fuck you.
Nigga.
Fuck you.
Nigga.
Fuck you.
Nigga.
Fuck you. That's my song. It's a great interview. Thank you for having me, Not Adult. Thank you for listening, fans at home. And peace and love. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Glory be to God. Love everybody. Love everyone. Don't be IRA, United Ireland. Hell yeah.
Okay, bye.